Hey people, it's Wednesday morning. Hope you're in for a great day. We're going to be continuing today in our look at Jehovah Nissi. The Lord is my banner. Great lesson on spiritual warfare. Great lesson on prayer, that the battle is not won in the field, on the valley. The battle is won on the hill of prayer. And if we're not praying, then we do need to pray, because otherwise we're not going to win the battle. But in order for us to fight the battle, Ephesians tells us to put on the armor of God, and to put that armor on and cover ourselves from the front with the idea we've been talking about yesterday and today, and the day before, about the fact that who protects me from behind? Obviously, our thesis is that God does that. Now, in Joshua chapter 20, I have a great one for you today. There were places that Joshua appointed, 6 cities, called cities of refuge. Now you see, in amongst all of the settling of the promised land, there were enemies there, and that was one thing. But sometimes things happen to us outside of our control. And sometimes we have to pay the consequence for things that are not our fault, things that may just happen to us as a result of maybe some kind of tragedy or an accident, or we're responsible for something that actually was not intended at all. And God said to Joshua, I want you to appoint 6 cities, and he told them where they were. And they were all within running distance of most people in the land. And God said to the people, he said, if you have a tragic, if somebody dies at your hand accidentally, if you're plowing and the plow falls over and kills somebody, they will ordinarily, under the law, a blood avenger would have been appointed to get you. And the family would have got together and said, you have taken life from our family, we therefore demand your life in place of the person who has died. It was a bit of a ruthless kind of a situation, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, that kind of situation. And that's what the law spoke to in those days. But God, with great compassion, looked at these people and said, it's not his fault, it's not his fault. It was an accident, it was outside of his control. And so God appointed these 6 cities, and he said to the people through Joshua, I love this. He said, if you get yourself into trouble, if you, for instance, have a culpable homicide situation where maybe you kill somebody by accident, here's what you do. You drop everything and you run to a city of refuge, where there will be a group of people who will welcome you and care for you and protect you and give you a fair trial. And so he set these and he established these cities out there so that people would have a place of safety to run to. And many people did. And as the blood avenger was chasing after them, they could look behind and they could see, oh man, he's catching me, he's catching me, he's catching me. But as he got to the city, as the gates of the city opened, the elders welcomed him in and gave him safety at a good trial. He knew he was safe because God was his back. And God was saying, keep going, city of refuge, keep going, you're safe there. People, doesn't God do the same thing for us? Sometimes circumstances in our lives get so tough. We do something wrong, not by intention, but by accident. Something happens and we're responsible for a lapse somewhere along the line. Well, be aware that God has made a place for you. He is your city of refuge. He says, run to me when you're in a crisis. Run to me when you're in trouble. Now we know in Psalm 121, it says, the Psalm says, where can I run to? I head for the hills. But where does my help come from? And he's saying the help doesn't come from the hills. My help comes from the Lord God Almighty, the maker of heaven and earth. The hills are of no help to you at a time of that kind of crisis. Well, I suggest you don't run to the hills. You know, we run for help to people, and sometimes that's legitimate. But if we run to the help of people before we run for the help of God, I think that's a bit stupid. So let's run to God. If tragedy strikes in your life, if something bad happens to you, won't you run to him, because he's your city of refuge. He's your refuge. He's your high tower. And he will give you a place of safety. And he will not judge you. He will care for you. And he will do what he's promised to do, as per the story we've just told. Jehovah Nissi, the Lord is my banner. He leads me from the front. He gives me the armor of God to protect myself. But the good news is, he's got my back. So don't mess with me. So have a great day, people. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.